My name is Vera Reece-Walker. Just got that Walker name added on. I moved to Dallas in 1961, I believe. Hurricane Carla came to Houston, and I was on my way to Dallas, so that's kind of how I happened to be here. And we moved right into the neighborhood, but just across Lemon Avenue was about 4 streets of single family, and then about 3 or 4 streets of duplexes that was called Carver's Court. And when the news came that, Carver's Court was no longer going to be there, we started to look around in this neighborhood for some place to move, and that's where we moved. That's where some of the people who had lived in Carver's Court moved, and so we didn't have to move far. Didn't have to move far, just up the hill. And the neighborhood was kind of mixed at the time, but the area that was called Elm Thicket, or this area and just a little bit west of here, was not doing so well. Unorganized, kinda, but a few people who lived here and thought it was a good place to stay began to organize and talk about improving and that sort of thing. So when I had a child, I just bought a house, and and the problems started to creep up. I thought I just bought a house in that neighborhood, and then something really bad happened, and then I thought, I can no longer wait, I have to go into action. So I met with some of the people who lived in the neighborhood, were interested in staying in the neighborhood, owned businesses, were some professionals, and could give me guidance. I only knew a few people because I just moved here. They knew a lot of people. They were church leaders and some doctors and plumbers and a lot of churches in the neighborhood that I could call on to help get started and what we realized had to be done. Churches were one thing, and then it was a big thing. We counted, I think when we got started, there was 10, 11, it might have been 13 churches in this 2 square mile area. Well, the one that really got me going was when some young boys were accused of raping a woman, and then we start to say, well, they had nothing else to do but get out and get in trouble. So we start to name the reasons and solutions. The reasons they had nothing else to do, and the solutions would give them something wholesome to do. And that's when we got together and said, hey, they need a place to go and to do things that are wholesome. So then we started getting a list and saying, well, hey, we need to go downtown and say, we need this and we need that. We had paving, and when we listed the streets that needed paving, I thought, well, my kids have to walk across the street that's never been paved. Oh, they said, oh no, that's not right. And I thought, well, I know streets have been paved, and when one hasn't been paved and my kids are walking in the mud when it rains, come to find out there are no houses that face that street that the owners would have to pay for paving. So, Sid Kennedy was president of the Civic League at the time, and he started calling and threatening to call the newspaper about the city not knowing that the street had never been paved. And in 1 week, that part of the street was paved. And I thought, hey, we just needed a big heavy voice downtown. They didn't ignore me, because every time there was a council meeting, we had another item to put on the list. So, but when Sid Kennedy roared, we got things done fast. Well, this center was a big a big item. We had a new minister who came to town from, I believe he was from Atlanta. No, not Atlanta, St. Louis, I believe, Reverend Smith. And I think they had a multi-purpose center that he had been involved with in St. Louis. And he pushed us and gave us direction on. And the center became a center that we could use, and it's very nice and adequate at this point. People were leaving the area at the time, what we considered white flight, but these houses were spacious. Things had begun to look nice, and so people who didn't mind living close to the airport, close to traffic going to the jobs at the medical center, and the tollway was built, and so it became an attractive place to live. Well, you could get a house for under $15,000. That's a big thing. They was $12,000, $15,000, $14,000 homes. You could, with FHA loans, you could assume, and that was attractive. That was an attractive thing at the time. You could move out of a little duplex that you were renting into a house, and your payments would be under $200 a month. Under $200 a month. That was in the 60s and 70s and stuff. One group was moving out, black people were moving in, and now Hispanic people are moving in, and the cost of property has gone through the roof, gone through the roof at this time. So that's kind of a big thing, and some people are worried about their taxes going up because of it, and the cost of land, the price of land, the market value of land is it's a now thing. So, and now comes the lifting of the Wright Amendment. So that's where we are now. That is where we are now. So people who can afford a almost $1 million house say, hey, that's not a bad place to live. They didn't live in Highland Park or University Park. This is very close to everything they have over there. The new thing is with the newer homes coming up, people have fences. Fences. We used to could look out in the neighborhood and see your neighbors if they had clothes on the line, or if the door was open or something was going along. You could look over the fence because the fences were chain link fence. You could see right over there. They could see in your yard. You could go outside and talk to each other. With the 6 and 8 foot fences now, it's different. It's different. Well, my kids and a lot of kids wanted to hurry up and leave and go someplace else. A lot of other people's kids didn't want to leave, and they stayed here. That's pretty much how it affects the people who want to stay. Some people's kids go and come back. Some people go and stay gone. And a lot of people who were here a long time ago know no other place. I know, I spent one night in Oak Cliff, and I've been here since 61. One night in Oak Cliff. I think one night in Fort Worth. Been right here ever since. It's home. I don't know how many people who have lived here. A lot of people have lived here longer than I have, and they don't plan to move. That's pretty much the way it is. You know, some people think it's it's backwards to want to live, you know, in the same place. But hey, if you got enough space to live in and it's close to everything you want to be close to, I don't see any need to move. Not for my purposes.